For Western whites, Africa has always represented a place in which to hoard their darkest myths. No continent has seemed so alien. The relationship between Westerners and Africa has been superficial and conflict-filled, rarely characterized by integration, equality, or respect. Whether as tourists, cooperators, engineers, or colonizers, the white man in Africa, even today, inhabits islands which protect and separate him from a world he doesn't understand.
We have the two flags of the Netherlands. This is the Prince's flag, Prince Willem van Orania. Those two flags was used in the Cape when Jan van Riebeeck arrived. And then we have the old Voortrekker flag, when they left the Cape as voortrekkers in order to establish a new community, a free community here in the northern.
Orania is a newly founded city whose developers are trying to create an independent Afrikaner state based on the laws of apartheid. It is located next to the Orania River in the heart of the South African desert. From an old village in ruins, the new pioneers have created the necessary infrastructure to plant the seed of what they intend to be the independent state of Orania. 600 people currently live here.
We realized that we need an area big enough to accommodate at least 300 to a half million, 300,000 to a half million to perhaps 1 million Afrikaners. They can have a whole land for themselves. Our idea was to start here at the northern part with the Orange River as natural source and to work down to the west coast.
The first whites to emigrate to South Africa with the intention of staying were the Dutch Boers. These were Protestant peasant families who came via the Cape of Good Hope at the end of the 17th century. They were joined by some Germans and French, rough people with deeply held Puritan convictions who did not accept the colonial authority of the English. They emigrated to the north, coming into conflict with the Zulu tribes and British troops, created 2 independent states, and were finally defeated by the British colonial power.
We decide here in Orania to put up what we call a freedom flag. And that is the old Netherlands flag with orange there, not red as the Transvaal, with orange there and the green there. So this is the flag here in Orania.
With the creation of the Union of South Africa, and later with independence in 1961, some of the Boers' interests were recognized. Afrikaans, their language, was made official, and with the complicity of the other white South Africans, they established a state based on apartheid, on racial segregation. In 1994, the first democratic elections in South Africa gave power to the black majority, and apartheid was abolished.
I'm an Afrikaner and I identify with the people in Orania. There was a positive energy in Orania which I liked In the rest of South Africa, everybody seemed to be a bit in a depression, or the Afrikaners especially, after what happened in the country.
Christian, like many other young Afrikaners, left everything to start a new life in Orania. He lived in Pretoria, where he ran a successful architectural firm. He hopes to build mud and straw houses like his in Orania.
There's a lot of wheat growing in the area, farmers growing crops, and they just burn all the agricultural waste. In this country, there could be millions of houses could be built with straw they burn each year. It's a very good material to build with in this area. The climate is very harsh, almost like a desert climate, and at night it cools down, and in winter it's very cold.
The reason why we nonetheless are working for a Volksstaat is that it doesn't help us to be a minority of less than 10% in another state, even if it is a democratic state. You are permanently marginalized as such a small minority, and that is why we are establishing our own institutions and state.
Coral Boshoff is one of the children of the developer of the Orania project and also one of its young ideologists.
At the moment, the Afrikaner nation is not a free nation, but in our history, freedom has played a very important role. And in future, it will still. We have a vote, but we have no say on our own affairs. We cannot have freedom without the territory. The two pillars on which our whole history rests is the belief in Christ and God, and the strive for freedom.
Apartheid is something that we have in ourselves, because we go to different clubs, we go to different churches, we don't want to go with somebody else. So apartheid it was created a rude thing, but it is a natural thing amongst people.
It is now awakening, genetic, in these people that are the people that came out of the Boer folk, knowing that we are something else. And we do have a history, and we do have our places, our states.
We lost our independence in 1902, and we want our independence back. We can't survive in South Africa under the present circumstances. The Boer republics belong to the Boers.
Radical Afrikaners are a minority within the political and social framework of the new South Africa.